It was an average summer night. I was at the local pub after a hard day at the office. I had no one waiting for me back home. I didn't even have a girlfriend. Maybe that's why I spent most of my time all alone at the pub. This night ended up being a bit different than all my other nights. All because I met that guy. Should I even call him a guy? Because surely he can't be human. I don't remember everything that happened that night. I was pretty drunk after all. The bar was practically empty, save for a few regulars, the barkeep, and well, me. It was a quiet night, and no one was talking except for a little bit of small talk. That was until he came in. I think that was about 10 p.m. He was a tall man. I'd say about 6 foot tall, and of Arabic descent. His hair was pitch black and pushed back. He wore suit pants, nice shoes, and a red blouse with a black vest over it. The sleeves of the blouse were rolled up to reveal tribal-esque tattoos on his left arm. His dull grey eyes traveled around the room, studying all the residents as he gingerly placed a cigarette on his lips. Those dull eyes soon turned the gaze to me. I spun back around to the barkeep and kept my head down to look at my almost empty beer bottle. I wasn't in the mood to converse with anyone, and surely not with a rich-looking guy like him. Girls must swarm to him. Unfortunately for me, this man seemed to have other plans and sat down at the bar next to me. "Do you mind if I light this up?" The bartender just grunted. It was his way of saying go ahead. The stranger pulled out his lighter and lit the cigarette, taking a long drag of it before puffing out the smoke. We sat there in an awkward silence for what I guess was a good 10 minutes. That was until swiveling his stool to face me. "You come here often?" I simply nodded at his question. I really wasn't in the mood to talk to him. He huffed at my response and took another drag of his cigarette. "Not much of a talker, eh?" I nodded again, and he furrowed his eyebrows and stared at me. It wasn't a menacing gaze, but it still made me feel quite uncomfortable. We sat in silence for a while, yet again, before he decided to put out that cancer stick. This time, he looked at me straight in the eyes with a wide grin. "What is your greatest desire?" I was taken aback, and I wasn't scared to show it on my face, but he just continued to grin. So I thought, and I thought. I guess my greatest desire would be to have a family. I'm in my late 20s, and I don't even have a girlfriend. I just want a family. He nodded and stuck his hand into his pocket, pulling out what looked like a coin. He flicked it in my direction. I pushed back a bit in my chair in order to catch it, as he stood up and started to leave. He turned around one last time and smiled. "Good luck with the family." And with that, he was off. I looked back at the coin in between my fingers. It was copper in color and had some sort of symbols on it. I thought nothing of it and pocketed it. It must have been some coin from wherever the stranger was from. It probably wasn't worth much, but it'd make a nice souvenir. After a few more drinks, I decided to head back to my apartment. As the months passed, I ended up meeting this woman. She was perfect. We fell in love and ended up getting married after a year. We ended up having 3 children. The eldest was my son, and then there were the twin girls. We were all happy as we could be. I'd still go to my local pub, but only on the weekends. Truthfully, I was actually hoping to see that stranger again. The one that gave me the coin. So I could tell him how my desire, my wish came true. But every time I was there, he wasn't. Everything was perfect though. Well, until about 3 years after the twins' birth. I started to notice that my wife started to get incredibly clingy to me. She always asked me where I was, and she often stopped by my office to drop off something I apparently forgot. Some nights, I'd wake up to see her either staring at me or looking through my phone. I was getting creeped out. The kids were also starting to act weird. Whenever I walked into a room they were in, they'd stop whatever they were doing and just stare at me. Sometimes a creepy smile would form on their lips too. As the months went by, they all just got creepier and creepier. In the middle of the night, I liked to go to the bathroom and later go to the kitchen to get a snack. And whenever I was returning to my room, I'd see one or maybe two of the kids just standing in the hallway, smiling. Even as a grown adult, this made me nearly wet my pants. They just followed me everywhere with those smiles. They were always smiling. And my wife, she just got clingier and clingier. I just couldn't handle it anymore. I'd noticed that I started frequenting the bar more often, to the point of every night I'd stay there and drink until I was wasted. Only then I would return home. My wife would ask where I'd been all night, and I would just grunt, collapse onto the bed and fall asleep. I'd wake up in the morning to go to work. After a full day, I'd go to the bar and, well, I bet you can guess. The cycle would just repeat itself. I didn't want to spend time at home anymore. They creeped me out. A few months passed when I finally saw the stranger again. He was sitting at the bar smoking his damn cigarette. I stormed to him and thrust the coin back into his hand. He looked up at me, puzzled. I was fuming. He tapped his finger to his chin for a minute before that wide grin came back. Ah, you decided a family, correct? How are they? I sat down next to him, my hands in a fist. How are they? They're creeps. That's what they are. I vented. I told him everything. He just sat there watching me with an amused smile. He played around with the coin after I finished, brushing his fingertips across the jagged surface. I guess you could say, be careful what you wish for. He snickered and pocketed with the coin. How could he just laugh it off? This wasn't funny. I was scared to go home, to be around them. He wished me luck and gave me that coin. That coin. That coin that I carried everywhere. That coin that my wife would stare at. Wait, don't tell me this coin. No, this person granted me. No, that's not possible. But what if he did? What if he did grant my wish? Was he some sort of genie or a fairy godfather? No, that's impossible. Those things are just fairy tales. They don't exist. They don't exist. They don't The stranger grinned, baring a set of shark-like teeth, like he knew exactly what I was thinking. Be careful of what you wish for, they say, because it might just come back to bite you and destroy you. He cackled as he lit another cigarette. I stood up abruptly and rushed out of the bar. His laughter and message still clear in my mind. No, I wouldn't let them end me. I won't let them end me. I can't take them anymore. I'll end them instead. Then I can live happily alone. Right? Yes. All alone. Alone. all alone.